My name is Neependra Khare, um, and I'm a founder and consultant at CloudYuga. And we have been training people on containers, Docker, Kubernetes from last 4 years and so forth. Before that, I worked for 11 years in the industry, primarily with Red Hat. I'm a CNCF ambassador, as Tajit mentioned, and there are a few other stuff which is there on the slide here. The important one here is the Docker Meetup group, which we started in 2014 or 2013 in late December onwards. Uh, and then it's been kind of uh, a significant thing what we have done over these years, right? Let me just go over and tell you the picture of 2014, the Docker Meetup group slide, so that you can just see that what kind of growth happened over the years. So I'll just quickly go over and tell you the picture from the second Docker Meetup group, and you would see that what was there and what's now. Right, this is the second Docker Meetup group we have done. First is Shippable, which is now part of JFrog. That's kind of a thing what we have seen in the 2014 onwards, right? But look at the growth what we have. It's completely filled, which is really awesome. And in last year, basically, when I was kind of got too busy with my other stuff, Ajit took over this meetup group, and really happy to see other people kind of coming forward and running this meetup group in full scale, Sayam, Sangam, and other people. So thanks for them to kind of running this meetup group very successfully over the last year, and I think they'll keep doing it in further as well. Okay, before that, after that, just kind of let's look at what's happening in the Kubernetes world and what you should be checking out in the next year and so. So of course, Kubernetes, I think everybody know that it's kind of a de facto center of orchestration there. So what we're going to see in the next year and so is mass adoption. How many of you here now say that let's do Kubernetes this in your company? Can you raise your hands? Who said let's do Kubernetes this, let's do Kubernetes that, and so on, right? So I think it's coming from the top to bottom now. Now it's not becoming a hobby project anymore. It's you can see the things coming from your top management who is saying that, okay, let's do a Kubernetes first thing, right? And that's where we're seeing a lot of people coming forward and learning Kubernetes, trying it out, things and so on. It's no longer a hobby project. It's going to become mainstream, and that's what we are seeing these days here. The ecosystem of Kubernetes is getting bigger and bigger day by day. Look at the number of drivers people are writing for networking, storage, and monitoring. So what we are seeing is Kubernetes just kind of a deploy on one of your environment, whatever it is. But then you have to solve the problem of storage, networking, monitoring, and so on. So what we are seeing now is a lot of softwares are built around that. CSI drivers, which is kind of combining a lot of storage vendors. So CSI is a kind of a storage what do you call it, standard, and the companies like Portworx, OpenEBS, they are all building software on top of that. So what you can do with Kubernetes is we can make Kubernetes have a very stable stuff. Or maybe if you're aware of the OpenStack story, right? When OpenStack came, we saw a lot of software coming and keep getting into Kubernetes, the main OpenStack thing. That made OpenStack very heavy. And then people were saying that, okay, the same thing is going to happen with Kubernetes. So then the Kubernetes community did a very good job that we kept the Kubernetes thing very stable and very minimal. And then you extend that thing with the help of these something called as operators and controllers. So what you can do is you can have base Kubernetes, then you can add your own stuff on top of that. So for example, now even you can create an S3 bucket on AWS by running a kubectl command. So those kind of things are now possible. So you take Kubernetes and then deploy your stuff on top of that. And that's what people are writing more controllers and more operators on top of that. So you can say that, okay, if you deploy a database on top of Kubernetes, and you can say now, if my storage is filled 50%, I want to add more storage into my database. So all these things are possibles, and that's happening with the help of operators and controllers. So you should look for these things. So if you are into programming and and you like to kind of play with all the next gen stuff, you can learn these controllers and operators, which will help you to kind of extend Kubernetes for your personal need or for a company's need and so on. Then what you will see is you're going to see a lot of hybrid and the multi-cloud things happening in the Kubernetes world. So now what people are asking is, how can I have the Kubernetes setup on-prem and a respective Kubernetes setup on the cloud? And then I want to connect them together. So that's also possible with the product like Anthos from Google. So you can have part of your cluster running on-prem and part of it running on cloud. And you can seamlessly deploy your applications on-prem, and then you can scale them on cloud and so on. That's happening. What other things to watch is there are multi-cloud stuff. So now everybody first of all, hope you are aware that Kubernetes runs same everywhere. It is a very big benefit for any company. You are not bound for a given cloud provider. So you're not saying that, okay, I am bound to AWS. For example, for a company, like for example, a startup, right? They kind of comes and deploys, or let's say AWS, or not to name anybody, a cloud provider comes to you and tell you, saying that I will give you some discount coupons to run your 1-year infra on the Google Cloud or on any cloud, right? So you kind of go and deploy the application on that cloud, you make your team aware of that cloud and so on. And then next year, once they come up, they might increase the cost, or you're not very much comfortable with that cloud now. But you can't move now because you're kind of stuck with that specific cloud provider. So what Kubernetes is giving you a way to have the same API or same call, whether the deployed cluster is on-prem, on a laptop, or any cloud provider, Docker, AWS, Azure, DigitalOcean, or whatever it is. So once they are on different cloud providers, Kubernetes is becoming a common language or common API call. So now once you have done that, now you can kind of deploy multiple clusters in different cloud providers, and then you want to now connect them together. So that's why you can have a multi-cloud stuff. So you can have something called as a federation. Kubernetes Federation you can have. So you can have one master cluster running, which can manage multiple clusters on different cloud providers. So that way, you kind of course, getting a high availability, and then you can run your specific workload on a specific cloud and so on. While we are here, talk about workloads also. So with the workloads, what you're seeing now is you can run ML workload, you can run your big data workload, all the machine learning stuff, and of course, whatever storage you have been running. So it is not possible to run all different kind of workloads on Kubernetes. That's why also seen that more and more workloads are going to come on Kubernetes native way. Now, once you kind of deploying these apps on Kubernetes cluster, the next thing is going to come is security. How secure the Kubernetes is going to be? Because once you have mass adoption, then they are going to be hackers or whatever you call them, right? They're going to kind of come and break a system as well. So you're going to see that how the security is going to play a role in the Kubernetes or a container ecosystem there. So there are a lot of tools are going to come here, and security is the next thing people are going to look for, or companies are going to look for once the deployment happening in the production, because you don't want data to get leaked for your customers and so on. The security of the orchestration containers are going to be the next important thing where people are going to spend time and money, and of course, more and more products going to come in this area. Then you're going to have the Kubernetes is kind of also becoming very popular in the edge computing. So we're not going to have a lot of these devices which are going to be connected. So how do you kind of put them together? And there are interesting use cases are coming there with the help of Kubernetes there, because Kubernetes is agnostic to your OS and your platform. So that once you have these multiple different kind of devices, how do you say that they all work in the same way or connect the same way? So that's where the edge computing use case of Kubernetes is also kind of becoming very popular there. So those are the kind of trends which you have to kind of watch for in the next year and so. Let me just go over them one more time. Adoption is going to increase in every company. Ecosystem is completely all the time evolving there. More controls we're going to write on different custom softwares. Uh, for personal need, for example, I want to write a controller which can create a database for me if I run this command. Then once database is created, I do something else. So you can write some of these custom controllers. Then hybrid multi-cloud is going to be the next big theme, and federation, using which you're going to connect multiple clusters together. The security is another kind of important thing going to happen in this year, and of course, edge computing there. That's all I have for whatever time I was given here. So we are doing a Kubernetes forum in Bangalore and Delhi. It is organized by the CNCF. So if you want to kind of attend those events, there's 17th Feb we are doing in Bangalore, and in 20th Feb it's happening in Delhi. So it's going to be a community event organized by CNCF. A lot of interesting talks are there. So if you want to kind of avail some the discount coupon there, they're on the screen. And yeah, that's all. Any questions anybody has just at a high level? Okay, then I think we are good.